Hello, everyone. Welcome to NGS Storm Division Qualifiers. I believe this is the second qualifier here. We're getting one part of the bracket, Imagine versus Team Draft Gap. Team Draft Gap. My name is Jazzalene, and joining me this afternoon or this evening or very, very, very early in the morning if you're Rob, is Rob.
Good morning, everybody, and good morning, Jazzy. Hope you are doing well in this, I'm assuming, heat. I assume where you are is very warm as well. I think where you are is always very warm,
Yeah,
so probably
actually,
not much of a difference.
it's not so bad today. It's still warm, but it's not like I can actually spend time outside today. Recently, it's been like don't even open the door. It's like you'll die if you go out there kind of heat. But no, today it's only 31.
Okay. Only.
It's only 31 instead of 36 or 7, 40.
Positively chilly. The second it gets to the 30s here, people just start rolling over and dying. So, yeah, it's a little warm here for my liking, but looking forward to seeing some pots. Always a big fan of the Storm Division stuff, so curious to see what happens here. Some names already in these lobbies that I recognise.
Yeah, I was excited when I was assigned the Imagine game because you may know that I'm a Breakwood fan, so I'm glad to see she's going to be playing tonight.
Aren't we all?
As well as JTR, Defender, Fatal Rampage, and Virtuoso on the side of Imagine. So it's good to see them return for this season of NGS. A lot of these players were on a roster last season in like, what's the names of the heroic division? There we go. So it's nice to see them return and kind of stick with this game. We all know a lot of announcements have come out recently that have maybe dissuaded some players from returning. So I'm excited to see them back and playing.
Definitely. Always good to see teams keeping the dream alive, so to speak. And let's be real, if you're playing Storm Division, it's not exactly for the money. It's because you love the game and want to play. You want to be the very best, like no one ever was.
I'm just taking a look here. Some of the players we could potentially see on the side of Team Draft Gap tonight is Hashmer, Call Me, Siren, Chrisinator, and Robot Wizard. Those are the ones that are listed that just auto-filled in my soothsayers. So maybe we see those. Maybe we see a little bit of changes here or there, but we're still waiting on a few more players to filter in as we get ready for game number 1. But you know what we're not waiting on? We aren't waiting on those map bans. So let's go ahead and take a look at those now. Coin toss here was won by Imagine. They've opted for first pick, giving the map pick over to Team Draft Gap. The bans for this evening are going to be Volskaya Foundry and Alterac Pass banned out by Imagine. Team Draft Gap banning out Battlefield of Eternity and Sky Temple. We're going to kick it off on a nice classic Infernal Shrines. I always love starting a series here.
Yeah, same here. Infernal's one of those classic ones. One of the more played games in like the amateur series as well as the tippy top levels. Just I feel like it's a map that very few people just dislike playing. If I had have woken up at 1 a.m. for a Garden of Terror game, you might have had a very short cast. I'm just saying.
One more player to get in here, but I can agree with you there. Garden of Terror is a bit of a slog.
A smidgen, yeah. Not for the first game, at least. Let me wake up first, and then I'll be at like an even kill for it. Just so any of these players from Team Draft Gap, ones that you recognise from the NA scene?
Some of them I've seen around. Some of the Hashmer I know a little bit of. These other players not super familiar with. I may have seen Call Me around because I know the BBW team name Hashmer also has it, so I might have seen them around, but not super familiar with those players. Not as much as I am on the side of Imagine here. So we'll see.
Cool,
yeah, we'll see what they bring.
New blood.
It's for me too, though. I will say, like, I haven't been following a lot of some of the lower ranked NA stuff right now, because I was, working with CCL and looking at that stuff and the HRCS teams, and then casting mostly like Storm, Heroic, Nexus teams. So in there, I'm kind of a little bit familiar with some of the teams. But if these players are coming from like a Div A team or a Div B team and trying their hand out at Storm Div, I might not have seen them before.
I'm going to use this opportunity to say as well that the division names for NGS are very, very confusing for someone who doesn't watch a lot of NGS. So Storm Division's like the top, then it's Heroic,
Yes.
then you guys get into like your letters and stuff because
So
it's East and West.
no, then there's Nexus. They added that a few seasons
Ah,
ago because there was too many. There was just this like upper of like, oh, they're not quite like they're a little too good for Div A, but not quite as good for Heroic. So we're gonna add in a Nexus Div. So yeah, the very top is Storm Div. That's the division you have to qualify for. That's what we're casting tonight is the qualifiers. Below that, all the other divisions are divisions that you just automatically get seeded into. So at the top is Heroic, and then you have Nexus, and then A, B, C, D, E. I think it goes to E.
gotcha. I mean, it's still better than what Heroes Lounge has with Division 1 Plus. I'm not a fan of the 1 Plus. I like clearly defined and named tiers, so once you know it, it's pretty good. So yeah, I knew Storm and Heroic. Nexus Division is a new one to me.
Yeah, that one was, I think,
Interesting.
added 2 seasons ago.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little
And-
newer. Just
yeah.
gotta confuse everyone just a little bit more now.
And just isn't like its 14th season as well, so there's been a fair amount to keep track of.
All right, we have the readies coming in here, so we should be jumping into the draft in just a moment. What do you like to prioritize on Infernal Shrines? We haven't really talked much about what we could be seeing here yet.
So, Shrines is one of those maps where you cannot just ignore the objective. You really need to be competing for every single objective, except for potentially the first one. Although you see less of it these days than you used to, where people would just go off and ignore the first objective. So, Shrine Control, stuff that does well on Shrine. Tychus, for example, really good at last hitting those Shrine minions with that grenade. As well as once you hit level 10, Odin is pretty much one of the strongest Shrine Control units in the game. Stuff like Diablo, good in those enclosed areas around those walls. Just, you tend to try and focus around that objective here. More so than virtually any other map, I think.
Obviously, to that, Hogger is very popular on Shrines because if he can get his
yeah.
setup good for the spins and you know your lines, you're just forever on
I mean,
there.
as long as you're not Wally, basically.
Oh, throwing some flame here.
I'm EU, I'm allowed to flame him. He's like one of my all-time favourite players. I think he's legitimately top 3 all-time players. He also has one of the worst hoggers I've ever seen when it comes to just lining up your spins. That's horrendous. So the tech's actually pretty simple. There's some good guides out there, and as we speak about it, we do indeed see the hogger being banned.
Yeah, Whisper, who's in chat right now, has made a video that kind of shows you a lot of the Hogger tech if you guys want to check it out. Junkrat making it through the ban phase here, and that's going to be locked in right away by Breakwood. Those bans, Brightwing Lucio on the side of Imagine, Team at Draft Gap. I already mentioned the Hogger, but I've also gotten rid of Joanna. They're going to take the Kael'thas Decker.
That's spicy. Spicy. I like Kael'thas, especially on this map. He's actually, in theory, quite good because you're quite enclosed around that objective area. But if you're looking at what the tippy top meta is at the moment, going Junkrat, Blaze, Diablo as a first 3 is pretty gosh darn strong.
Yeah, not very often you see Kael'thas or even Deckard prioritize this early in the draft. So kind of interesting picks coming out of the side of Team Draft Gap. It could be potentially comfort picks. Maybe they're worried about some target bans here. We'll see. Maybe they have a plan. We just don't see it yet.
Yeah, as you say, I am not someone who thinks you have to always draft whatever the meta is. If you've got something you're comfortable with, then heck yeah, go for it. You see certain players, even in the top levels, who have their comfort heroes. Someone like Ritsu, who plays Probius and Zarya to a ridiculously high level. No one else even touches them, so if you feel like you've got that hero that you can make a big impact on, go for it. And I do think something like Kael'thas is very underrated. However, I'm a big Yrel fan, so looking forward to seeing some Yrel here. One of my highest win rate heroes, actually. And just generally a difficult hero to kill. So gives you a nice beefy front line along with the Garrosh.
Did you say Yrel is one of your highest win rate heroes?
It is, yes.
Did Liam give you all the pro tips?
No, it was just I've always been an off-lane main.
Oh,
So
okay.
my most played hero is like Dahaka. I got a really, really high win rate hero when Jarell came out. It was like 90%. I played a lot of games, and at worst, I've like lowered it to like the mid to high 60%.
All right. Drafts here finished up. Sylvanas and Rhaegar picked up on the side of Imagine. We're going to see the swap. JTR is going to take the Junkrat, Breakwood onto the Sylv. Not super surprised. Yeah, no, not at all. And over on the side of Team Draft Gap, locking in the Grey Mane as their last pick. I like this Garrosh into Diablo matchup. It makes it really hard to play the Diablo.
They've got really good blow up with the Grey Mane there. Assuming he goes Cursed Bullet, it's really good against Diablo, who has a pretty chunky health pool, especially as Souls gain. Question is, are they going to be able to get the Garrosh to walk up? Junkrat is going to be looking to get those boops on him, and if they can get Garrosh into the back line, Garrosh isn't a hero you really want to be in the back line so much with. You kind of want to be flanking into him, kind of in the mid to the front, and just get someone who's overextended, as opposed to being in the back line, because he doesn't really have any escape once he's there.
Yeah.
So, gonna need some good unstoppables from Garrosh.
Let's go ahead and get into this game number 1. We have Imagine on the left-hand side. Breakwood will be playing Sylvanas Virtuoso on the Diablo. JTR playing Junkrat Defender on Rhaegar, and Fatal Rampage on Blaze.
On the right side in the red, we have Team Draft Gap with Chrisinator on that Urael Robot Wizard playing the Grey Mane. Siren on the Deckard, BBW Call Me on the Garrosh, and on the Kalfas it is BBW Washma, Hashma.
3, 2, 1.
Team Draft Gap. I don't know why that just feels hard to say.
Draft Gap.
We got Team
Words are
Draft.
hard.
Yeah, we have Team Draft Gap just going immediately to lanes here. So they got 3-man mid. All of Imagine showing up for that mid wave and potential brawl here.
Seeing instantly a variation on the usual build for the Blaze there, opting to go for the new habits to get the unstoppable once it reaches 15 stacks. You can definitely get some value into that heavy CC of the Garrosh and the Urael. So probably looking to do that to try and boost the frontline survivability there.
That Junkrat just kind of stalling them on the rotation down there. Kael'thas is still around to catch the soak, so they're not going to miss too much. And we're going to see Virtuoso tossed in. Has that Shadow Charge to disengage. Urael knocking him back. There's a cleanse out onto Virtuoso. He's getting chunked down. Can they secure the kill? They will, and that'll be first blood over to the side of Team Draft Gap. Chrisinator almost going down in the meantime. Breakwood the same, but they're able to walk away, get some health, and they'll be just fine. Just that one kill.
Yeah, really good early damage there from Team Draft Gap. Early, before Ancestral becomes a thing, they are super going to need to be careful of the Garrosh. You can't just walk into Garrosh, especially when you're a very low soul Diablo. Once Diablo gets to a point where those souls have started to stack up and you've got the soul shield, you can survive those situations much, much easier. There's a video somewhere of Calpilla dancing inside like multiple ults as Diablo because it's just disgusting the survivability that Diablo has. So it needs to be careful in the meantime though.
He's currently at 15 souls on Diablo right now, so he really doesn't have a lot of extra oomph to him. See
I liked that little move there from the Garrosh as well. Playing around in vision, I'm a huge fan of. It's why I really enjoy watching tanks like Bad Benny, for example, where they're hiding out of vision as much as possible, as opposed to kind of what a lot of tanks tend to do is stand in the middle of the lane and wiggle about. If they don't know where you are, they don't know where you're engaging from. So always play with vision as much as you can, unless you're relying on your tank massively for that wave clear. Just stay out of vision as much as humanly possible and make them think.
Do you have this next, or this first shrine, I should say, coming up here? It's going to be a Frozen Punisher. I like what Imagine has done here. They've grabbed their Bruiser Camp and we're just holding on to it to cap it closer to objective time. They've sent it out now, and Team Draft Gap is just starting their Bruiser Camp up, so they're going to be a bit behind, both coming to objective and getting some pressure up in that top lane. They have Urael up there, but we're going to see Imagine start up this objective first.
Yeah, getting really good priority here onto the objective. Getting there early is really big. They're already at 15 tri-minions already, which gives them a huge advantage. Junkrat, again, very good for getting the shrine. Can poke away very safely, gets still lots of minions here and there. However, level 7s are almost here for Team Draft Gap, and they are very quickly catching up on this objective.
They were able to push back the members of Imagine, create a lot of space here for them to pretty much catch up on these skeletal defenders. Chrisinator getting in a bit of trouble going in deep though. Fatal Rampage also getting shredded down. Team split now on the side of Imagine. Looks like they're targeting Diablo. There comes the Gravity Lapse, and it's going to be Junkrat to fall first. Virtuoso getting chased down. He will go down second. And look at this route onto Defender, trying to walk away, but that totem's not going to slow them enough. That is 3 kills over to the side of Team Draft Gap.
Really well played there by Draft Gap. I want to highlight the Urel here a little bit, as a proud Urel abuser myself. Just using that health pool and going into the back line, waiting for that perfect hammer to get the knockback. Just really setting up that kill, and the rest of the team following up really nicely. Looking forward to seeing more of Chrisinator as this game goes on. Almost 1v1ing Breakwood on the Sylvanas, and Breakwood is a very good Sylvanas, so we do actually get a kill onto Blaze in the top lane. I'm a little surprised, based upon some of the names on Imagine. I was expecting them to be the favourites, but so far, Team Draft Gap handling them very well.
Yeah, for not recognizing a lot of the players on Team Draft Gap, they're putting on a good show so far.
Absolutely.
I
think level 10s, I would say Imagine have the stronger level 10s. I think Bunker is going to be very useful. I think Lightning Breath is going to be very useful. I think Ancestral is going to be huge, but they can't be getting picked off in these situations. A lot of these deaths have occurred because they're not respecting the positioning of the opposing team.
Do you see this bottom siege camp is going to go over to Team Draft Gap? They have that full level lead here on Imagine right now. Their ultimate's online. Urel, Sacred Ground, not Ardent Defender. That is a surprise.
Interesting. So that is actually a talent I very occasionally go. Generally, if I'm going it on Dragonshire, because, or Braxis for that matter, actually, because you can kind of just permanently sit up in that point. I guess the same theory applies here. If they're not that scared of the blow up of the opposing team, it can definitely get value, but looking at the opposing team, I'm a little surprised to see that.
The other ultimate that's immediately popping out to me too is Kael'thas with the Pyroblast coming in here. They have a
That's the
bunker. But there's a bunker you can just drop in. We'll see.
Let's go for that shotgun Pyroblast, as we do see the Lightning Breath coming out. Everybody dropping pretty low, but they are able to waddle out of there without too much issue. Interestingly enough, Junkrat holding that ultimate. Are we going to see a rocket ride? We're getting some interesting ults already, so who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. Oh, there you go.
Okay. Rocket ride, I guess, stops Pyroblast? Because you leap up in the air, so Pyroblast probably just goes away.
I feel like that's true.
I don't know.
Chat
It's not
will
the
know.
interaction
Chat
I've
knows
ever
everything.
seen.
within the shrine
Could be.
will be made to serve us.
We got
Okay,
this
we
next
are-
Punisher coming up here. It's going to be a Mortar Punisher. Both teams are working on these Bruiser camps to send those out. Like, it is top lane, so they'll be around to clear it out. But you still just having that advantage on the wave and making your team have to kind of clear that out before they can contest objective is good for you down there.
Absolutely. The Team Draft Gap are nicely pushing up the lanes here as well. Urel positioning just to try and mess with JTR's Junkrat. But once again, we do see Imagine getting onto that objective a little bit earlier than Team Draft Gap. Looking to pop up now. They have that level 13 advantage.
We got Urel coming up on the flank here. Jumping onto Breakwood, knocks her back. And there's the toss in. Breakwood will fall. Stay a while and listen comes out from the Decker. They're looking for a little bit more here. Let's see if they can find it. Fatal Rampage left in the back line here. There's the stun out from Garrosh. He's going to be able to walk away. 1 kill for nothing so far on the side of Team Draft Gap as they look to start the shrines up themselves.
Yeah, really nice engage. Once again, they're starting with Yrel, which I really like. Sometimes when you're going for that Garrosh, who does get booped in, will be able to get out with the unstoppable Yrel coming up to cover. Sometimes when you're going with Garrosh, you'll engage with him, but I like the using the Yrel knockback to set someone up for the throne to talk. It's working really well so far.
Diablo going in for the engage, finds a stun onto Robot here. Nice CC coming out. There's a rocket ride interrupted by Yrel. Big wailing arrow out from Sylvanas. Let's see if we can get some kills onto Team Draft Gap. They are going to find that pick onto Yrel, pushing them off the objective with only 7 skeletal defenders needed until Team Draft Gap secured the objective. Let's see if Imagine can close out this difference. Only 5 more until they secure themselves a Punisher, and they are brawling in the lane here. We will see Diablo fall. Rhaegar will go down next, and the Punisher over to the side of Imagine.
Yeah, this Punisher should be cleared up pretty sharpish. Although Diablo coming back in, that is a really badly timed.
Oh, that was so funny.
Rocket Ride value as well. That could not have been timed much better. The Punisher jump enabling that Rocket Ride value. And all of a sudden, what should have been a reasonably easy clear for Team Draft Gap is going to be a free fall. And probably a decent chunk of quick fall damage.
Oh, that was so good. And that's why he goes Rocket Ride, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen a Rocket Ride in some time, so that was fun to see. We will be able to clear this up pretty quickly now. The rest of Imagine going in, trying to get some value within those other lanes. They do have the Sylvanas, which does help to enable their push a little bit. In the meantime, Yrel starting that camp could be a little bit risky.
The thing to keep in mind here too is Team Draft Gap, although they lost that objective, lost a fort here, they are still well ahead on experience. They're going to hit their level 16s first, and then they can try and force something with that talent tier advantage. Let's see if they go for it. Imagine's going to get that bottom siege camp, so no really opportunity to contest that, but they still have a siege camp on their side to grab, and we might see an invade.
Yeah, once again, trying to set up the engage with that Yrel coming in, trying to see if anybody is overextending. What talent? Yeah, went for the extra movement speed on the Divine Hammer, which really just makes Yrel one speedy little hammer thrower. Blaze are kind of far forward in the top lane, needs to keep an eye on the rest of the team, because if they are able to rotate up there without going into vision, he is potentially in punishable territory, but realizes this and does promptly back off once the lane is cleared.
16 is now online here for Imagine. They've closed that talent tier difference here. Not as afraid here. Virtuoso is like, hey, I got 16s, I can walk over here, right?
Yeah, why not? You know what the problem was? Kalfas went the wrong level 1 talent. Just no hope whatsoever.
See a little bit of siege pressure being started here from Sylvanas. Just get this wall down while they're here. We have Greymane starting the Bruiser camp up right now for the side of Team Draft Gap. This is allowing Imagine to get a little bit of pressure in this bottom lane.
Yeah, lane is being nicely pushed out. The XP is almost evened up, just around about half level behind or Imagine currently, and they're going to be popping off to go do their camp as well. Next Punisher is what? Arcade. Okay.
I don't really like the camp timing here for Team Draft Gap, but the fact that they're forcing Imagine to go grab theirs now means they're getting some value in bottom. So even though it's not paired with the objective, it seems to have worked out just okay for them.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit early, but I think as long as you're getting a little bit of value from it, which they did there, managed to get some free damage onto the fort as they are sniffing around for another kill there, having to back off now for this objective. I think it's not too bad, and did prompt the enemy to do their camp also. We'll be able to clear it. nice and quickly. Want to see them position early on this objective. I have the Deckard, which is really good for setting up on an objective.
Trying to look at that gray main, at least create a little bit of space so they can get set up on the shrine. Junkrat traps hanging out, and we're going to see Imagine start this up. Virtuoso, though, going in for the engage onto Hashmer. Now split from the team. There's Urel popping the ultimate, and Virtuoso just has nowhere to go. Bunker dropped to try and save him, but not coming out quite fast enough. Down Diablo will go.
Utterly melted Diablo there, I'll say. Just had absolutely zero chance. I think the Wailing Arrow was exploded a touch too late, so didn't quite catch as much of a team as Breakwood would have liked, and this should almost certainly secure this objective as long as they're proper with it. However, really like this answering from Imagine. Realise you're losing the objective. Okay, let's go get some pressure in bottom so we're actually getting some value here. And Garrosh is going to have to be careful not to get killed because the kill pressure between those three heroes is still very, very real.
They've just pulled 3 members of Team Draft Gap down into bottom lane here. They only need 2 more skeletal defenders to finish it off, so it looks like they're just going to kind of prep the map to be in a good spot for them once they cap this. Maybe grab these bottom camps if they can.
Yeah, looking for the kill here on to the Kel'Thas. Nice into the fray by Garrosh to make sure he is out of there without too much of an issue. Currently stalling on 35 Shrine minions. Gonna look at picking up this camp, possibly the bottom camp as well, and try and get a level 20 push here with his Arcane Shrine.
So we're gonna see Urel finish the shrine off now. Arcane Punisher heading mid here for Team Draft Gap. This fort already sitting about half health left on it, so it should fall fairly easily. In the meantime, Imagine's gonna go ahead and grab that bottom siege camp, so at least they can get some pressure in that bottom lane, maybe secure a fort themselves. The question is how much of keep is going to go down here.
I love this positioning, by the way. They're trying to bait with the Kel'Thas quite far forward, then having the Urel and Garrosh in a really good flank position. We do see the Sacred Ground coming out there from the Urel. Was really hoping to try and get engaged. They're going to lose that Sacred Ground pretty shortly to try and get into this fight. And this is going to be a key.
Junkrat out with a rocket ride. Here's the lightning breath. Keep does fall. Everybody manages to stay alive for the time being. Fatal Rampage walking away very low.
That BM back from Urel, just like casually right next to the opposing team. I'm just going to herp here. See if you want to step up and do something about it. I love it. We do have a bit of a push bottom, but the middle lane is very nicely opened up for Imagine. If they get a good team fight at some point, 1 or 2 kills, they can potentially go and end at this point.
They're looking at Urel here. There's the charge. Diablo going in. She's got her ultimate back up again already. Diablo just getting bullied here. Is going to use that Hellgate out of there, and the Ancestral keeping him alive. Breakwood repositioning with that Haunting Wave, and they will walk away.
Interesting choice of level 20 from the Rhaegar. You generally see the improved Ancestral, especially on a hero like Diablo, can really get a lot of value from it, and I think would have been a better choice here, but let's see what value they can get from that Pit Fighter. It's not the choice I would have made based upon how this game is going, which is effectively they're just blowing up any hero that walks up towards them.
Yeah. Urel jumping in. There's the Shadow Charge. Stun to follow up. She does have a cleanse, but look at that health bar just being melted here. Imagine's feeling a little bit better about stepping in after that damage put out onto Urel, and they're going to go ahead and grab their Bruiser camp.
I like that they backed off there. You don't need to risk it all in a fight like that. You're currently ahead. Pick your fights for when you're feeling like it's advantageous. Gonna go pick up their own camp now. Top lane will be the lane for the next shrine. Mortar Punisher will be the next one. Popping up in a bit. Urel once again sitting there in that bush, ready to get engaged. Gets engaged onto the dirt below. However, Garrosh not close enough to get the toss.
The stun onto Blaze and Diablo. Both of them dropped in. There's the bunker drop. Diablo able to get in this time, but it almost immediately destroyed. Virtuoso getting incredibly low. Rocket Ride out from Junkrat. There's the bombs connecting onto Virtuoso, but he lives through it all. And the members of Imagine running away here.
Yeah, worth mentioning, went for the double throw. Pyroblast almost hit, but Diablo was able to get into that bunker quick enough to stop that, else that definitely would have been a kill. Again, some interesting talent choices I'm seeing here. Always fascinating to see what people find as like their comfort talent picks.
I think the Deckard Stay a While and Listen upgrade here. If he finds a good Stay a While and Listen, it could be huge for a team fight.
Love a good stay a while and listen. I think it's one of the most impactful ults in the game in terms of just setting up kills. We do see a beautiful toss on to that Blaze. Is able to survive with the Ancestral, but Rhaegar dropping quickly, followed by the Blaze.
Bunker was up in 1 second. Couldn't live long enough to drop that. They're trying to find some return kills, but everyone is just dropping on the side of Imagine. 4 for nothing for Team Draft Gap, and they are running at... They look like they were thinking about mid. Now they're running towards mid. Decker will get them healed up enough to go for the core here if they want to.
Yeah, I was going to say they're pretty low, but they do have those big potions from the Deckard. Should be good to heal up here. We'll take a pretty impressive defensive performance here. You just don't get hit by the Rocket Ride. I actually really like using the Rocket Ride onto the minions here. I don't think it's going to matter. That core is melting. I think game 1 is going over.
There's the Pyro out to get Diablo. Core will fall in game number 1 over to the side of Team Draft Gap. GG's and well played.
Yeah, super impressive. I really loved the engages. Their tank play was very, very good with that front line of the Urel and the Garrosh combining just superbly.
Let's see if the match results are going to load for me. You just got stuck on the loading page. There we go.
Yeah, I just got kicked out of the game, which was interesting.
Oh, oof.
Just kicked me to desktop. That was odd. That's not happened before. Just loading real quick.
Well, that means Rob can't see the talent screen and the results and stuff like that, but I can. 3 to 14 in kills here. Imagine just seem to really be struggling to try and pump out enough damage to secure some of these kills. Also struggling to find the target on who they're going to focus. Diablo, you can't really engage that well into the Garrosh. It kind of left them feeling like they weren't sure how they were even going to approach looking for kills some of the time. What's your thoughts, Rob?
Yeah, I think they did a great job as well as doing a good engaging Team Draft Gap. They also peeled for their team very well. Some excellently timed into the phrase from the Garrosh, especially at the end there, getting Deckard the heck out of there, which ensured no one died. And if Deckard had have died there, they wouldn't have been able to heal up, and I don't think they would have been able to go and get that core at the end. So superb defensive play when needed, but the story really was all about how good they were on the engage. It was just chef's kiss.
Oh, CC, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome everyone coming in from CC's stream. If you guys don't know me, my name is Jazzalene. I cast a ton of Heroes of the Storm usually, but we'll see what we get up to in the next coming months, because I don't know. I'm still casting clearly, but I don't know.
I feel you.
Anything in the talents that you want to talk a little bit more about? I know you can't see them anymore, but...
No, I can see your screen.
Okay, perfect.
Still some interesting choices. I don't know. I think I do believe having the upgraded Ancestral would have been better there. I think that could have really helped with the survivability, which was the issue they're having. I'm all for trying some different talents, but I am also big on reacting to how the game is going when picking my talents. So if people are getting picked off a lot, upgrade your Ancestral. It just it will help keep people alive a little bit longer. I'm not a believer in Sacred Ground for that game, but I don't think it mattered realistically. I do think got some good value from it. But I think that was just very good URL play in general.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you on the Ancestral. I think upgraded Ancestral, it's a must grab, especially when you're throwing in, they're bursting down single target blow up. Or you saw in that last team fight, a big stay a while and listen, you had 3 of the members clumped in there. Diablo, Blaze, and Sylvanas all got caught in that stay a while, listen, silence. If the Ancestral had gone off, all 3 of them would have been potentially able to survive all of that, just everything thrown at them. And now, you know, you have Team Draft Gap, down your ult, and you can potentially turn the fight at that point. But without that,
Exactly.
not possible. You're not going to have AoE heals for everyone. It's just going to be one person, one time, and a lot harder to survive through it. We're going to go ahead, jump on over to Rob and I. Next lobby is up and ready to go here, and I'll let you know where we're headed in just a moment after I update my map overlay for you guys.
Not a problem. Yeah, just want to continue on your point there as well. You saw how low Team Draft Gap all was at the end of that team fight. A few more seconds of survivability, that could have been a 5-man team wipe for Imagine. So, don't know. Have a think about that survivability and try and keep your team alive a little bit more with that ult, I think would have been the play there.
Let's go ahead and take a look at these maps here. Game number 1 was played on Infernal Shrines. That was picked by Team Draft Gap. Imagine sticking with that first pick option here after losing game number 1. And we are headed to Tomb of the Spider Queen, a map pick out from Team Draft Gap. Let's see if, you know, playing from map pick gives them the win here. If it's going to be a 2-0 or if Imagine are going to bring us to game 3. Tomb's always... Yeah, I like Tomb, but I'm also like, this could be a 30-plus minute game.
Yeah, I like Tomb. Tomb's a fun map. It's definitely a map where you get a little bit more flexibility in your strategy. You tend to want to have a bit more vision in your comp on this one because you're trying to delay those turn-ins as much as humanly possible. I'm a big fan of going map pick as well. I'm of the personal opinion you're better drafting from second point in most situations at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm a big student of Bad Benny on that one. He was very adamant to me that second pick is generally nearly always better.
I think right now, too, the game is in such a great state balance-wise that there's no super OP heroes that you really need to worry about getting in first pick.
What you mean with all the latest changes we've been having? Like, no one's been like reacting to the big changes of the last patch, how it's going to shake up the meta. Let's say.
I can't say I'm surprised. I know everybody was hoping for some kind of patch to change everything, but I think right now the state of the game is in a good spot balance-wise to mess with it, and then, you know, you never know if you're ever going to get a patch again. Would be a little terrifying.
That is very fair, yeah. They could have absolutely broken it, and as 2 people who have teams in like the CCL finals coming up, it's probably nice to know they're not completely screwing up the meta before that goes down. As once again we do see that Junkrat pick up. Junkrat again provides really good vision, very good delays on the turn-ins here as well. So potentially a very strong hero. I think Rocket Ride did okay. I'm a big fan of Riptide though, as we see the Calfast Decade again.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. They walked
Same
away with
draft,
the
who
game,
this?
and yeah, they walked away with the win in game 1, so why not?
Will we see the Diablo here? I think this is a weaker Diablo map, in my opinion. However, they do go for it. There is a bit of a tank choke going on with the Janna and the Stitches being banned out, and we are seeing basically the exact same draft so far.
I'd have to think, though, that they're maybe considering getting rid of the Garrosh this time around with this third ban instead of Tychus.
I would.
Yeah,
100%.
I think me too. I think that the Garrosh caused a lot of issues for them, and they'll be able to run this draft a lot easier without him in the pool. But that does leave Tychus up to potentially shred through a Diablo. We'll see. We'll see how they play it out. There's an Alex Straza ban.
Alex Straza ban. Do they know something
Interesting.
I don't about the opposing team? That's interesting. Yeah. I like the Garrosh ban there. The other option, of course, is to try and pick a site, just a hard Garrosh counter, something like the Jaina there in that position. But I'll be frank, I would just ban Garrosh there as well. I think it's a very good choice. So, tanks left. You've got your Muradin. What else? I think Muradin is probably the choice here.
Muradin, a noob.
A noob, yeah, a noob could work as well.
Rise again.
Going for off-lane Lyric. Let's go for main tank Lyric, going for a Zanehide special, going for that 13 death game. But I'm not a fan of main tank Lyric. There's one thing to get a decent chunk of trait value, there's another thing to die 13 times in a game as a tank. It's never a good sign as we... Oh, I like the Medivh there. Okay, this is a really good Medivh map. Especially with the Diablo. I think Diablo Medivh is a fantastic combination. I'm not as big a fan of it with the Junkrat, and we are going to get a main tank Lyric game. Okay. Interesting. Perhaps they can make me a believer. I've not been a fan of it when I've seen it. They don't have a great deal of hard CC, and into the Medivh, I'm not a fan of Team Draft Gap's draft so far, but perhaps they'll prove me wrong. I don't know. The Lyric tank here, I just feel like that could have so easily been a Muradin, and it would have been 100 times better.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. I mean, they can definitely get value from it. It is a viable tank in theory, so...
Yeah, I mean, didn't we just see a main tank URL in CCL?
Did we?
I mean, kind
Did
of.
I may have missed that one.
Diamond Hands played Urel Zarya as their like front line.
Yeah.
I guess they had
that's
Uther.
fair.
I guess they had Uther, I think, in there too.
Yeah, I think Uther is the tank.
Uther
in
more
that
counts as the
situation.
tank, I guess. There.
Yeah, and that's Diamond Hands. They barely count. Those guys are crazy.
We'll start on the left or the right hand side this time. Team Draft Gap, Robot Wizard on the gray main. We have Siren playing Deckard, Chrisinator on Leoric, Hashmer on Urel, and Call Me playing the Kael'thas. What's going on over on Imagine?
And on the left we have Imagine the Blue, JTR on the Medivh, Fatal Rampage on the Blaze, Defender on the Malfurion, Virtuoso on the Diablo, and Breakwood on that Junkrat. So Breakwood getting to play the Junkrat this game, as we will get to see some JTR Medivh. Good engage damage on to the Diablo, but we're going to have to back off here. Don't quite have the same kill pressure with this comp as they did with the Garrosh. So it does look like Leoric is going to be the one going to lane. They're going to be rotating with that red.
I like. So say the Diablo pick here, if they were worried about him dying, I like that they're pairing it with the Medivh, but my worry is Junkrat doesn't, like, he can kind of poke and put some sustained damage out. I'm kind of worried where their kill pressure is going to come from. So we'll see how the game progresses, what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Junkrat with the Medivh. I think they're both excellent heroes. It's not the combo I would have gone for. So we'll be curious to see what they can do with it. Getting good rotations here from Team Draft Gap, managing to keep reasonably in pace with the opposing team. Diablo just checking a bush there randomly. This is the thing, Diablo is going to be very difficult to kill this game, I think.
Yeah.
They just do not have the same pressure they had last game. So Virtuoso is going to be able to get away with a lot more than they did in that previous game.
Yeah, and you know, the shield is just always going to be there. It's going to be very, very difficult to make Diablo your kill target. They'll still have some tools in their kit, like that Cursed Bullet potentially, to help kind of shred through that health pool. But again, a well-timed shield can just negate all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Medivh is just, if you have a good Medivh, it's very rare that Medivh is bad. Just, Medivh is one of those heroes where if your team knows how to play with it, it's utterly disgusting. It forces you to play the game in such a completely different way It's like playing against Vikings. I absolutely despise it because it just you have to play so differently.
Yeah, not to like talk in circles, but again, it's all going to come down to great, your Diablo's surviving, but can you actually get kills? These might be some kind of longer drawn out fights because a lot of protection on the side of Imagine, but not a lot of ways to really go for some of these kills. Look at Medivh setting up the portal here for his team to come in for the invade. It's going to drop off. Just, you know, just threatening the chance that it might happen.
I like it. I like it. Make them think about it. I think it's quite nice. I am predicting a quite low kill game here, at least early. Level 10 I think is going to be the thing. Once they get the Entomb, that's going to be their kill pressure.
And you have like the bunker to help out with that Entomb if you can drop it by it or in it if you're stuck in there. Help you survive through that. There's the engage onto Call Me, goes for the flip, but Robot Wizard's in the back line trying to pick on Medivh. JTR having to back off, and we're gonna see Greymane just able to roll on out of there. He was deep, but he was not punished for it at all.
Yeah, able to get away there without too much of an issue. And honestly, the more I'm thinking about it now, I just said Entomb, it's like, hold on, they've got a Medivh. Entomb, this probably won't even be an Entomb, to be frank. They have so many tools against it, but in retrospect, no, Entomb's probably going to be completely useless here, so I don't know. Both teams make me wonder how they're going to get the kills. I think
Defender's
it's going
in some
to be...
trouble. Split off, trying to come up. Portal's drop. He gets the shield on him, and he is able to portal out. Fatal Rampage coming in with the jet propulsion to help out as well. Able to hit that portal out too.
Any other hero, Anduin might have been able to save him as well, to be fair. Any other hero, basically, and he's dead there. Like, every time. Do get the first objective turned in by Imagine. What can they do here with this first objective? They're trying to put a lot of pressure onto the Virtuoso. Feels like they're trying to tank Buster the same they did last game, but without the comp to tank Buster with.
Yeah. Webweaver phase coming in here for Imagine. We have Virtuoso going up into that top lane. Defender Breakwood coming up to join them as well. We're gonna get a little bit of pressure maybe up here. Open up that boss lane if they can. Taking a peek at Hashmer there, but not quite able to make anything work.
Splitting into all three lanes, making sure they get all of that soak. The objective is getting cleared pretty well. They're moving into the top lane, but Kel'Thas is going to be up there very soon. This has been a poor objective phase for them. Not a single... but no, they got bottom walled actually, to be fair. It's not too bad. Not getting much value in the top two lanes though.
It did look like they were not quite sure where they wanted to push with these lanes. We kind of saw them hovering around both mid and top, but not really committing to pushing either one, which kind of just allowed Team Draft Gap to clear them out pretty easily. They're going to hold on to their mid wall and top wall. The only thing really taking too much damage is that bottom fort.
I'm personally a fan of holding my turn into level 10 anyway. I think when you've got something like Kel'Thas, on the assumption Kel'Thas doesn't go Pyroblast again, I think they've got really good zoning tools for that Webweaver push, as we do see Sacred Ground again here? Really? That is such an odd choice to me. I guess it's good around boss.
Could be comfort pick here as well. Diablo's in some trouble. There's a shield from Medivh. Riptire coming out. Silence used. Ooh, Greymane walking away with 120 health left on his bar. Virtuoso looks like he doesn't want to quite give up the engage here, but he's getting a bit low. He needs to play it careful here. Call Me stepping very far forward. Ooh, I feel like there's been some times. I feel there's been some times where Team Draft Gap, you know, Greymane or Kel'Thas could be a little bit more punished.
Yeah, I agree. We're seeing a bit more standard stuff on the other ults, as we do see the Riptire this time. We are seeing the Phoenix as mentioned. I think Phoenix is going to get a lot of value this game in these kind of positions, as we have a beautiful engage and boot onto Kel'Thas. Kel'Thas, is he going to fall? Yes, he is. First blood.
Is that really first blood?
Yeah.
Wow. See if they can find a second one here. Big stale on Lizano from Deckard to disengage, and the members of Team Draft Gap will walk away. Webweaver in mid cleared up. They're going to head towards top, clear that up. Blaze working on the bottom one with Leo down there to kind of try and shove that lane forward, but not too bad of a defense here for Imagine.
Yeah, very well defended there. Gonna get the middle wall almost. That tower should just about survive. Entomb onto a Blaze with Bunker. Does nothing. Yeah, I don't know how we're gonna get kills here. Short of someone super overextending. As we do see Lightning Breath coming out, causing the rest of Team Draft Gap to
nice jet propulsion.
Oh, nice jet propulsion.
Riptire comes out. It's not enough to kill Chrisinator on that Leo. He will be able to walk away. Gets a potion from Siren on the way out. Looping back around. This is maybe a little ambitious, but...
So, second turn-in of the game coming out for Imagine. What can they get with this one? We are seeing Robot Wizard going in very deep, trying to get that kill there. Is booped away.
We'll see what they can do with this. This is their second one. First one, didn't get too much. And a lot of their team in bottom part of the map right now. I don't want to see them hang back and be decisive. Like, let's pick something and just go do it.
Yep, 100%. Go forward with gusto. It's better to all be going forward with a bad decision than lots of people unable to make one. It does look like they're posturing around that middle lane currently, but not too far up as it stands.
Slexia, thank
Blaze
you so much.
in the top lane.
Oh.
Kills Leoric. That is a lot of gems they've just lost.
Yeah. Yeah. Not able to pick them up either. Hashmer not around on time. Slexia, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. I appreciate it. 10 months. Wow.
Riptire, beautiful jet propulsion, followed up by that lightning breath, getting the kill onto the Calfast Blaze, having to pop back into that bunker to survive there. Very nice kill. We do have the Entomb onto the Diablo as well, but Diablo able to just waddle out of there without too much issue. Top 4 is down, bottom 4 very, very low, and they've almost got another turning again as well.
I think it's really important here that they are getting these turn-ins and kind of opening up and creating pressure on the map that way, because again, we're talking about their kill potential. They've been getting picks. Well, they got a few picks, but it's not really easy to come by with these comps that they're running.
Yeah, generally when people are dropping low or getting those kills now, it's much less about an engage, it's much more about people have just been overextending and they're getting punished a bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if they can tighten that stuff up, I think Team Draft Gap could be doing a bit better. The difference is obviously if Imagine overextends, they've got a Medivh, so their position can be a lot more greedy in this situation.
Bruiser camp cleared out for Team Draft Gap. Imagine has theirs pushing in mid now as well. Mid forward, about 3/4 health left on it. They're just going to look to dump what gems they can in and look to secure another Webweaver phase. There we go. They find it.
Yep, very nice. What can they do here with their third Webweaver phase of the game? They're going to have 16s very shortly, so we'll have a talent advantage for at least a bit of this objective.
See if they can manage to force anything on these 16s. Virtuoso goes in for the engage onto Chrisinator. There's the root underneath, but he's going to use that Wraith Walk to head away. Leyline comes out from Medivh. Riptire to follow it up, and there's the Lightning Breath catching Deckard out. He will go down. Let's see if they can find anything else here on the chase fight. Fatal Rampage and Diablo on Virtuoso on Diablo, both going in there, looking at Hashmer and that mid fort. There's a second kill for Imagine. The mid fort will fall.
Yeah, really nice engage there. Set up with a leyline seal, Fatal in the perfect position to get a jet propulsion with that
Ooh.
damage from Breaker's Junkrat. As we are seeing him engage over the wall.
Oh.
Fatal Rampage a little bit late on pressing the portal. Luckily the wall was low anyway, so it is able to waddle it out without too much of an issue. All three of these Web Weaver phases, sorry, all three of these Web Weaver waves pushing in pretty deep. I think they should be able to safely keep though. Unless they get a kill here.
That was
No, I
a
think
nice
we're good.
look on Akalmi here. JTR is tanking tower shots right now. Bunker is going to be first. Forced out. Fatal Rampage incredibly low. Chrisinator coming in on the flank to try and catch them on the retreat. There's a jet propulsion, but not enough to get out. Junkrat, Blaze, and Diablo all fall. They secure Diablo's souls. He'll be back up in a couple seconds. Look for the Entomb, but not quite connecting. Oh, JTR is so close to falling himself as well.
That was fantastic patience by Hashmo there. Just was sitting there with that hammer charged. The second they popped out of that bunker, knocked back, and secured a kill. Really nicely done. And they're going to get a boss out of this as well.
Yeah, Leyline is down. He does have a cooldown reduction on it. But he's going to have to hit quite a few here to actually use it for this boss. Virtuoso's going in though. He wants to make a play. Let's see if they can help him. There's shields onto Diablo. He's managing to sustain through it. Drops the lightning breath. Leyline is up. Can he get it? Oh no. The boss still goes over to the side of Team Draft Gap. There's the Leyline to try and allow Defender and JTR to escape. Portal is dropped. Defender still running away here with Hashmer on his tail, but he's going to be able to walk on out of there.
I like the idea. I think it was a little bit greedy there, and does mean now they're going to be without their tank for a little bit longer as they get some really nice damage onto the Irel. Is okay though, as the boss is going to take that top lane for and look to get some damage on to this keep. Web Weaver's very shortly behind. We do have Leoric out pushing the bottom lane. Probably going to be, oh, really nice boot on to Greymane. Will Greymane be able to get out of there? No, nice kill.
There's a stay a while and listen out from Deckard. Phoenix used on Kael'thas. This boss is going to be cleared up. And the Web Weaver is now spawning in. Looks like they're going to break off and focus on the other lanes with Greymane down for another 48 seconds. Really want to push under here and take that fight on unequal terms. Virtuoso immediately to that mid lane to try and defend that. He is alone here, but now the rest of the team here to back him up. Drops the portal and they're looking for the engage. JTR goes in and is immediately just shredded. Has to go right back out. And they will hold on to mid fort for the time being just by a hair here.
Questionable level 10s aside, I'm a really big fan of Hashman Sharel. Just very good positioning with the hammer. Almost securing a kill onto a Medivh, which is no easy thing, as we do see the engage onto Lyric is able to back off there.
Ooh, nice portal.
Oh, beautiful hammer.
Got the oil to slow Hashmere. There's a zoning and tomb coming out there.
I like it. I like the zoning.
Alright.
So, level 20. I'm assuming they go silencing and tomb here. If they can get the Medivh in it and the Blaze, they can get kills.
That's a
Getting
lot of
Medivh
ifs.
and a Blaze is a really big ask.
Yeah. Well, there we go. 20 is online here for both teams. It is the Buried Alive on Leoric. Diablo going in for the engage. There's the shield onto him. Phoenix coming out as well. Virtuoso getting chunked out. Is able to use that Hellgate to disengage. He's walking away here. Everybody managing to stay alive for the time being. Look at Chrisinator coming up on the flank here. See if
Ooh,
he can-
Virtuoso, please be careful. Pushing in that with the lane. We do get a lane line still, but are we going to get the charge? Oh, beautiful stay one. This might be enough to secure their survival as, oh, no, as we do see Medivh dropping there. Everybody is dying left and
Wow.
right.
Diablo's going to be able to get a counter kill with that Lightning Breath. Robot Wizard so incredibly low, but able to roll on out of there. That'll be a 3-for-1 here in favor of Team Draft Gap. They're sitting on the turn-in too. Fatal Rampage is still caught in the fray here. He's going to go down as well, slowly but surely. Down goes the Blaze. Virtuoso back up. They secure souls on Diablo once again. There's a lot of their gems also dropped on the ground there by Blaze. Thank you so much, Eternally Blue, for the raid. Welcome, everybody. We're casting the Stormdiv qualifiers here. Imagine versus Team Draft Gap. Team Draft Gap up 1 in the series. Looking to try and close it out in game number 2.
Yeah, doing a good job at the moment as well. That was such a messy team fight. Did not expect to go that way. Robot Wizard apparently has zero fear, just casually going 1v1 with the Diablo there, dropping pretty low. Deckard able to keep them up as they manage to secure the opponents. There is a camp and should be able to get a turn here.
Deckard's finding that turn in for them right now, and there's Red Web Weavers coming in for Team Draft Gap. See if they can get some keeps off these ones.
Yeah, you would definitely want to get a keep here. You're not going to get another turn in for some time. And this is kind of the problem with this map as it gets into late game, is it gets more and more difficult to get these turn-ins. So really need to be getting the value with them when you do get them. And I like to see what they're doing here, and that's posturing around that top lane. This is 100% the best lane pushing, because it is that boss lane.
I will say the way these spiders are kind of coming in, though, top is crashing first, so there's a opportunity here for jet propulsion onto the Kael'thas, and Tomb comes out, and Virtuoso just deleted off that engage. Diablo will fall, no souls this time around to come back up. Top keep is going down. They could maybe look to play for core here.
Man, I didn't expect this, but I think they're going to be able to get it. They do get the ley line still to delay. Webweaver is not that healthy. They might have to back off.
Trying to push forward and keep them off the core here. Shield still holding on. Mid keep will fall. Another Webweaver coming through. Bottom keep still getting hammered by the Webweaver down there. It's going to fall in a moment as well. And they're pushing in for core once again. Fatal Rampage will fall. Defender to go down next. And core likely the next to fall here as well. 54% left on core. Leyline to slow them down on this advance. Siren will get picked off on that Deckard, but in return, they're going to take Junkrat down.
Yeah, that should be good. Like, even with that amount of people there. Medivh doing what they can, but unfortunately for Imagine, Team Draft Gap proving that all you got to do is win a messy team fight and you can take a game.
Very close game here, though, in game number 2.
I feel like, especially once level 20 happened, you were getting these very messy team fights throughout the game, and once you got to that point, Team Draft Gap just seemed to get the better of those messy fights.
Just 9 to 12 in kills this time around. Just curious to see. Oh, they're going to be playing Baby Diamond Hands next.
Ooh, okie dokie. I'm always down to playing Baby Diamond Hands.
Let's take a look at the talents here. Anything that was kind of sticking out to you as a surprise to see, or you would have liked to see different? I mean, we've talked about the URL Sacred Ground a couple times, but anything else that you were...
I was pretty happy with most of the ults this game. I think Twilight Dream got a decent chunk of value, but I think there's definitely an argument for Tranquility. I think in this comp, Twilight Dream absolutely works because you kind of need that extra kill pressure, and they showed in a lot of those early game kills that they managed to get good pressure with the Twilight Dream. Otherwise, the only thing I think I would have potentially looked at is going APOC with Diablo, because you can do the Leyline Seal into APOC combo just to help secure those kills.
I was thinking about this as the game was going on as well. So it is really good setup for kills to do a Leyline APOC combo, but you're trading off damage, and their comp kind of lacked a lot of damage with the Medivh pickup. So like maybe if you were gonna do a Leyline APOC, but instead of bunker, you take combustion or something to make up for that damage. I don't know.
Proud combustion fan. I think combustion is absolutely a usable talent, especially when you're playing with people who refuse to use your bunker. I in my Heroes Lounge career, I've gotten very cross at teams refusing to take my bunker, so I just stopped picking it. and suddenly got actual value from my level 10. It was fantastic.
I mean, you potentially could have taken it here for that little bit of extra damage because you do have a Medivh to kind of counter the Entombs and help people survive that. So maybe this is the one time I wouldn't have mind seeing it just for that little extra oomph, and you could have had a little bit better setup with a Leyline APOC and a Riptire Combustion to blow everyone up off of it. Maybe that would have worked.
Yeah.
We'll never know.
Yeah. No,
Well, maybe.
I think it's fair.
So Team Draft Gap, they will be moving on here to the semifinals to take on Baby Diamond Hands. So we have that series coming up for you guys in just a moment. We're going to take a quick break, get all the overlays set up, and get the teams all ready to go. So stick around for this next series. GG's to both teams, very well played. Congrats to Team Draft Gap. We'll see if they can make it through into the finals as they go to take on the next beast of Baby Diamond Hands. We'll be back in a moment, guys.